So I'd like to talk to someone from IPM this morning. In actual fact, we've got the founding mother of the organization, and we've got someone that works with IPM. This morning we have Monica Clarke with us from IPM. Well, hi, Monica. How are you?
Hello, David. I'm good. I'm good. You're loud and clear. Can you hear
Excellent.
me?
Glad to have you with us. Yes, I can hear you clearly. Thank you so much. I just want to mention this before we get into the program. I'm so proud to say that I did have a short stint with IPM. I managed to assist them on their board for a while. And I'm always inspired to still see the great work that your program is doing. Monica, can you tell us, what does IPM stand for?
It's I protect me. And
Okay,
the reason is that we believe 85% of our safety lies in our own hands.
I
I
see.
protect me.
And how did you come about starting IPM, Monica?
Oh, the journey has been one, I think, since I was in I got married when I was 21. And from that date on, for 10 years, David, I was an abused wife. From the
Mm,
night of my honeymoon, my husband started abusing me. Um, and that is when I think the seed was planted in me that all of us have the power to change our pain into power. We actually have the capacity to do this. But it took me, oh dear, another 50 years before I realized I could do something concrete about it. So in 2013, another young lady, you might remember about it in South Africa, another young lady called Anine Boyson at 17 was disemboweled, raped, dumped and the workers found her in a latrine in a well the next morning in the Western Cape. And when this happened, David, I think Anine, in her spirit, thank you, Anine, for coming directly back to me after all those years and say, Monica, why are you not doing something? You have the power, you have the capacity, you have the contacts, do something.
wow.
And I was sitting in my, can I carry on, David?
Yes, please go
Sorry.
ahead.
I, I get so passionate about this, David. I was sitting in my comfortable little kitchen in France where I'd moved after my years in the UK, where I sought asylum with the ANC. I was a liberation activist. And I heard the story, and I tell you, it broke me. And then I decided, listen, write something. And I'm asking anybody who listens, please, please, let's write if we can't speak out. There's enough space for us these days, online and offline, to tell our stories. So I wrote about this and I said in the Cape Times, ladies, we have to do something. We can't stand by. And I got a flood of letters back from women in Cape Town saying, yes, please, everybody was ready to do something. And I think within 2 weeks, we had a board together. We decided together that and this is the important part of my realization, the power lies within us, me personally. I'm the one that's going to make the change. So I must equip myself with the proper tools to do that. So this is where IPM Protect Me starts with each individual. It is teaching them how to use your voice. We're loud-mouthed when we don't need to be. Use your voice. Use your body. Use your power, the beauty of you. You hold your head high. Keep your back straight. walk proud and say, stop, this is my boundary, you're not coming any further. And if you step any further, I know what to do about it, because I've been taught by Protect Me where I can report, how I can report. And if you don't stop right this minute, I also know what to do with you. So we teach, and this is not self-defense, this is self-protection. We teach the young people and women physical skills. Yeah, if you've got to kick ass or twist balls or pull ears or bite, that is what you do to get yourself out. And anybody can learn that. It's self-protection. So that's where we are. We started in 2013 in Cape Town.
And how did it branch out to be? Or
yeah, what happened?
Yes.
Yeah, what happened in Cape Town is the Department of Safety actually came and witnessed what we were doing in the schools, and because of them, they allowed us to. They opened the doors. They just opened. I think it was about 20 schools altogether, where they spoke with the principals, and we went in and we started teaching the children how to do it right from kindergarten, yeah, right through to grade 12. That's where we work. And we do it in community groups. It's a set program. And then what happened was in in Cape Town, we ran out of money. The usual story, David. Everybody has these great ideas, but it does depend on money. So we ran out of money. And the magic, the magic, David, of when you start something, it really doesn't depend on money. It really doesn't. I see this now. One goes into panic. I haven't got money. I haven't got money. And then we don't put our ideas out. Throw the idea out to your universe. Somebody will pick it up and tell it to somebody. And this letter of mine had gone, listen to this, that I wrote initially in the Cape Times, had gone online, and a man was apparently sitting in a plane coming from America, and he looked at this and he said, "You know what? You're going down to into Nairobi to his friend next to him. Why don't you contact this woman and tell her we can help her?" Long story short, I got an email from Nairobi.
Wow.
Saying I was told by my contact in America to contact you, Monica. We've been teaching children how to do this in schools for years, and we've got a very good track record. And Duncan of Dolphin AIDS Outreach wrote to me, and he said he'll come and help us in Cape Town. So I found money, went to Kenya, looked at what was happening, and it blew my mind. You asked me how we got to Cape Town. It's because at that time I had contacts in Cape Town, and we then, I went all out and found money. My sponsor sent me to Kenya, and please just bear with me while I tell you this.
Go ahead, no problem.
I arrived in Kenya, and if you think of the settlements, temporary settlements we have all over Africa, we think of Johannesburg, we think of Cape Town, all the shanty towns you see as you land at the airport and as you drive out. The world sees that, yeah? And I went into Nairobi where the buzzards were on the trees above the school, which had hardly any fence around it. And these children were sitting in the dust outside under this acacia tree. And this man, Duncan, stood up in front of them, and they started singing to me, and my heart went it jumped out of my chest. The children sang, "These are my private parts, these are my private parts, and no one can touch me, no one can play with them. These are my private parts." And I thought, brother, you've got to come to South Africa. So I went and I found money and brought his team, and he started us off. And the Department of Safe Schools was there, and they thought, wow. And they helped us to do camps in Cape Town. But then we couldn't pay people, you know. Everybody can't volunteer. Our
Yes.
people need to put bread on their table, David. As much as we, as South Africa and Asia, the volunteering concept is a totally different one to the European idea of mommy and daddy can pay for your gap year type of idea. So we couldn't pay our man. And then magically, God knows, a young man in Netherlands wrote to me and said, Auntie, I'm from Port Elizabeth. I've been living in the Netherlands for the last 13 years. I'm planning to go back with my wife and my 2 children. Please, can I take iProtect me to Port Elizabeth? Randall Marman. I want to cry when I think of this. You know, I'm sitting in France. It's happening in the in Cape Town. A Netherlands man phones me. A person from France gave the money for him to go from Kenya to Cape Town to go and teach the children. And here this young man from Netherlands said, let's do something, Auntie Monica, I want to do it. And then Randall came to Cape Town with his wife and 2 children, and they settled in Port Elizabeth. And he caught the rugby ball and ran with it. And now Cindy will tell you what's happening in Port Elizabeth. Cape Town is still waiting for us. Cape Town, if you're listening, we're coming back.
Great. Thanks, Auntie Monica. So inspirational. Such a
Thank
pivotal
you.
moment there with Anine Boyson's murder and the whole situation, rape and murder. That's really, really quite tragic and sad. But it's amazing how those moments can just, uh, sprout forth life and with what you're doing through the program now. So thanks so
Yeah.
much for that. Yes, we
David, can I just finish this
please
thought,
go
which is
ahead.
right on top of my head? I am a professional woman. I've always been a professional. I came through nursing. I was a midwife delivering babies in Cape Town. I then became a lawyer during the ANC days. Yeah.
Yes.
And I allowed myself to be battered. I didn't have the usual reason of, um, I haven't got money, afraid
Yes.
to leave me,
Dependent.
what's happening
Yes.
with the children. I had none of those reasons. But David, with respect to our institutions, it was the church and our culture that held me back from reporting all those years. I was ashamed on a Sunday morning, walking with my man, with my arm hooked in his, with my 2 lovely children, but with my sunglasses on to hide my blue eyes, where I'd been beaten up the night before because he was a deacon.
Mm.
I was afraid my mum would be very unhappy if it came out that the church is hiding this and they knew about it. I was ashamed that our culture says you cannot hang your dirty washing out in public. I'm ashamed. And I will do everything in my power to assuage this guilt. Thank you for listening to me, David, for allowing me this
You're,
opportunity.
you're very welcome, Auntie Monica. Thank you so much for speaking so passionately. I can feel the passion in your voice and it's so powerful that it comes from a real life experience and I think that speaks more than anything. With that, we'd like to welcome Cindy Martins. She's the National Program Manager of IPM South Africa at the moment. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you, David. And thank you to the listeners that's tuning in to listen to us as women speak about other women and the struggles that we go through. But there's good news. There's really some good news in terms of the baton that has been handed over to us to continue with the struggle and to make people aware and our community and our women aware that they don't have to keep quiet. They don't have to sit and feel that they're helpless. We're an organization that works within schools. We work with young kids
Yes.
at ages at primary level, at secondary level, and then we also work in our communities. So this is really important to us to make people and our community as young as 5 years old, as 3 years old, to say, tell, tell, tell. You've got a voice, and I echo what Auntie Monica has been saying. You have a voice and use it. You've got the self-protection techniques that we also incorporate within our life skills orientation program, that we actually go once a week to the school, and we in there and on a weekly basis to tell them and to show them what they can do and what they can use. The power that they have is lying within their own means. Thank you, David.
Super. So yes, so let's just go back to that self-protection means or moves that they can use. Auntie Monica also saying that it's self-protection. It's not so much self-defense because it's about getting yourself out of a potential life or death or where you're going to become a victim if you don't move quickly situation. Can you take us through that? What do you train the children to do and women to do in that situation?
You know what, David? It's really, for us, it's not so much the techniques that plays a big role when it comes to saving your life. It is how strong you are mentally. So we concentrate on that first. We go back to say self-awareness is very important. So we go back to say one step, just go one step back to say to a person or to a child, who are you? Know how you react in certain situations and what you can do to protect yourself as well. But it's important for us, it's more really important to be mentally stable. How you will react in a situation. You need to be stable when it comes to mental issues. When a perpetrator or someone, you need to defend your life, what can you do? The next step would be the basic skills. This is what we're saying. We're not using any violence. We don't use any weapons. This is not what we teach or taught in schools, but we say you've got a right also to protect yourself. And this is what we're doing in schools. We say when someone touches your private parts, like we mentioned, what are you supposed to do? Tell, tell, tell. Don't keep quiet. Use your
Yeah.
voice. Tell someone. We also, with the younger kids, it's more about pictures. It's using your hand. Who are those people? On every hand, you've got 5 fingers. There
Mm.
are 5 people that you trust as a person. We are telling there must be someone when something happened to you that you're not comfortable with, who can you speak to, who can you run to? So those are the things that we teach young kids. When it comes to our children that's on a much higher level, these things are important. We've got a social map as well. We're saying, who do you trust? The very same thing. Who do you trust? Is it a teacher at school? Can you speak to someone? Is it your youth leader? Is it your pastor? Because we're including everyone in this battle. We can't do this alone as an NPO, but we need to know, you need to know who are the people around you, immediate help that you can seek. Who are the people that you can go to? So those are just some of the things that the defense or protection moves that we've got. We've got quite a lot that we teach with every lesson that we deliver in schools. With every lesson, we have to show a self-protection move so that you know when you are grabbed, even when you walk in the corridors and someone grab your bag, your backpack, what do you do then? We also say, David, there are times when you can walk away. You don't have to be the strong one or to show anyone. There are circumstances that you can walk away.
I see. So it's about the person's safety being paramount. That's the most important thing. So do whatever you can. If you can get out of the situation, do that. Don't try to be a hero or to fight back unnecessarily. So it's all about
Yes.
self-preservation and making sure that they are safe at the end of the day. Thank you. Now, in our discussion before we started the interview, you said that COVID restrictions really made it difficult for you to operate in schools where you were running programs on a weekly basis? At which schools were you, and or are you still at the moment? At which schools are you running those programs?
Okay, at the moment, we are in three secondary schools or high schools, as we put them. We work specifically in the northern areas. Those schools are Boyson Park, it's Chetty Senior, and then it's Arcadia. We also work in primary schools where we had the after school program, especially with the youngsters. Our target groups were from grade 4 and 3 that we were working with between the ages of 9 and 10 and 11. In those four schools, we also work in Klein School, Bedvale, Bethelsdorp, Boyson Park, and Strelitz is one of the schools that we're actually doing our program in. So those were the schools. We also reached out, David. We didn't leave that because of COVID. You mentioned that we couldn't have access to those schools. So we took this drive and this awareness, and we make sure that our community, within the community, we had programs running, for instance, specifically with the women. We concentrated on gender-based violence issues. We knew and we read in the first week of lockdown, hard lockdown, our numbers escalated in terms of domestic violence, safety of women, the reports that we received about women being killed. And this made this organization to realize that we've got some work to do in our communities as well.
Yes.
So we took this fight to the community, and we had smaller groups. It was three different women actually, part of the prevention workers, that had smaller groups of 10, where we did the safety of women. What can you do? How can you protect yourself with this hard lockdown? And it was really good. It was a successful campaign that we had. Some women came forward to say that after we've done this intervention with them, I don't have to stay in this situation anymore. I can change. I can change, but the power lies in my hands. The power lies in the realization that I don't have to be stuck in a situation where I'm beaten up every day. Even though I don't have any family, I don't have support. Here's an organization that is willing to assist us or assist me to get out of this situation. So really, we took it to the people.
Yeah.
So a lot of people even were cut off from basic services, basic information. People just need, sometimes it's a telephone number that they need. Sometimes it's a contact. Sometimes it's where do you go? Where can you find information outside your circle? Someone that will listen actually to your story. And those are the things that we did. As a team, a core team of 5, and we've got 5 volunteers as well. We went out to the community, and even though there were a lot of threats in terms of our safety, in terms of contracting the virus, we
Yeah.
were out there and making sure that the message, people do get that message.
Wow. So even though lockdown brought its restrictions and you couldn't go to those schools, you are now branching out, and that's really wonderful to hear. Do you find that continuous awareness programs are important when it comes to GBV? To keep on making people aware that this exists, is that still very important in communities, or are people like, we know that, we don't need to hear anything else? um, about that. Did you find that it's still necessary to continue to raise awareness?
Yes, David, definitely. Because we're still one of the countries with the highest numbers of domestic violence, rape in South Africa. The killings.
Yes.
1 in every 3 women are killed. 1 in every 5 women are raped in South Africa. When we look at the statistics, 110 women raped, rapes that are being reported. So yes, this is something that we have to do and to continue. It doesn't only stop with during hard lockdown, or it's information, that awareness, the campaign that we run, and it's not just once off. This is not how IPM operates. We don't just go once in the community and then we raise the awareness. No, we go back.
Yes.
We go back to that community, because sometimes the person don't open up immediately. Sometimes you have to listen and give them an opportunity. And they really also want to check out. Remember, they want to check out, are we serious about this? Are we
Yes. Can they
saying
trust you?
what we're saying, do we mean it actually, and are we willing actually to walk a mile with them? So this is our success as well. Even in the schools, we weren't there just once. We went there. We went these schools for 3 years, David. For
Sure.
3 years, we went back every week. Every year, we went back to say, because change doesn't happen overnight. But as you hear this information over and over, it's repetitive. It's repetitive. We know that this will work. At the end of the day, a child will say, no, this is what's happening and I need help. And this is the letters that we receive from children as well. I'm shy, I can't, but I have these issues. I'm dealing with this. I need your help. And this is only through the fact that we had to go back every week to that child. That child, they knew that there was a safe space. They can actually speak. And whatever they spoke to us as prevention workers, we were able to keep it safe, the information as well. And when they shared information, when it was serious information that we were supposed to, and we helped them in situations like that. So our recipe really is going big every time. It's not just once off. Even with the awareness, it's not once off. You go for this month, it's going back to the very same people, because change needs to take place.
Great. Yes, and I think that's so important. I think a lot of people are unsure. They don't know if they can trust you. They don't know, they've been disappointed so many times. But with you showing up every time consistently, this speaks right to people in the community, and it breaks what Auntie Monica alluded to earlier when she mentioned, these cultural norms
Mhm.
that are actually so unhealthy, regarding religion and even
Yes.
regarding our cultures. People should still feel that they do have boundaries and they are able to speak. So with that, thank you so much. I'm really inspired to hear what IPM is doing. I'm sure there are also many success stories, recovery stories. Am I right, Cindy, that you've witnessed through the last 3 years or longer? Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct, David. We've got quite a few. When we've actually get the chance, we should post all the stories that we get from our learners, our educators as well, in terms of situations that they were in. You know what? After we've been at the schools, when people this image or the story that we say to people, the children, tell. At the beginning we even put some post boxes. We call it the Pandora boxes at these schools, where even the children, even in the toilet, where you don't have to look over your shoulder when you have to write something for IPM. The platforms that we use, Facebook, you can get in contact with us. We've got
Yes.
a website as well, where they can get in contact with us. And you know what? Even with the door-to-door campaigns that we run in our communities, the success stories, we spoke to people recently, very recently. We spoke about people with them about their issues, and they came back. Sometimes, and it's people that are caught up. It's either drugs. The biggest problem in our areas that we work, it's drug abuse, it's
Yeah.
substance abuse, it's domestic violence. We had women coming back. We had children coming back to us to say, I'm using this substance and I need your help. And we could journey with them to say, this is the route that we can go with your permission and with the permission of your guardians. With women, I know, if I can just mention quickly about 3 cases, very recent cases, that we after the intervention about the gender-based violence, they came back. The first thing that they say, I don't have to sit in this situation. I don't have to continue to be beaten by my partner. I want to
Yes.
get out of the situation. After this intervention was done with them, so we could actually got them to safety, the place of safety, so that they not sorry, they're not in that situation anymore. With our young kids, also very recently, uh, young girls that were sleeping on the streets, didn't have any family or support. We intervened with that, trying at least to get them into a place of safety. During COVID, we know there's a lot of safety issues with this, and a lot of safety houses don't allow people to come in because due to COVID, and there's a lot of restrictions. But we could reach out, and I'm telling you, David, these are real stories that we deal with every
Yes.
day. every day, these are the things, and people are phoning, whether it's over the weekend, they don't care, they want, because everyone knows about this organization that does awareness, that come out, that deal with this. They've got this program for our kids. How can we assist them? So these are the things that we're doing currently.
Wow. So you're reaching primary, high school, even adolescents, people that have left school even. You're doing community work with them. And so everyone, there are a few programs running at the moment. Can you name maybe some of the
Yes.
programs in closing?
Yes. In closing, the programs that we're busy running, and very exciting news at the moment, that during the month of March, we're training about between plus minus 150 young girls just on self-protection training, unemployed girls, and this is all done by women, the prevention workers, and this is young girls that's working, and it's unemployed, that's going back to the communities where they don't feel safe. So we're teaching them the basic skills, really the basic skills, how to protect themselves. We also have a peer-to-peer program that we're running at the moment that is for our youth, that is done also by our prevention workers. We also have a victim empowerment program that, with the support of social development, is to actually deal with those issues of gender-based violence, deal with issues of women's rights as well, so that we can address those issues as well. And then, not to forget, we still have our after-school program. We're just waiting now to see how the schools will be operating to implement that again within the schools. But those are the different programs that we do run at IPM as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Cindy. I know Auntie Monica is dying to add something to voice her opinion about something that you mentioned earlier. Please go ahead, Auntie Monica.
Have I got 2 minutes?
Yes, go for it. Please also add in
Um,
your parting message, Auntie Monica, just your parting message to
okay,
people
I'll add
maybe
in my
who are,
parting.
experiencing GBV.
Yeah, I'm reaching out to any business person who might be listening. As you heard Cindy say, we can train your staff to train your staff. Remember those women that have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, catching a taxi to make sure that the shop doors can be open at 8 o'clock? We can train your staff. So let's spread the cost here, businesses. Come on board. Let us come in. It's just 5 days training. We will give all the support. Then you can have somebody in your HR who will take forward the training with our guidance and our support and with all the knowledge that comes with it. You don't know who doesn't turn up on a Monday morning at your because they've been beaten up over the weekend. Yeah. So let's help our women, because each two women can train another 10 women. That's the program Cindy was talking about. Those 150 girls at Male Africa, each two of you can now go out and train another 10 women. Can you imagine how many thousands we'll reach if each two persons come for training? The training is free. Yeah.
Right.
But we're asking businesses to work with us, help us, yeah, to actually do this at a very nominal cost so that you can have in your premises somebody can train. I just want to say also that this is for children who are out of school, children who don't know what to do with themselves. They might have been excluded, they might have been involved with the law and they can't get jobs because of their criminal record. Yeah. The only thing we ask of you, yeah, is that you don't have a record for abuse. Come and become a peer trainer and go out there and join the army. And the other thing is to the press. Please, please, please carry the good stories. Stop just telling the world what a rape capital South Africa is. We're tired of that. Everybody knows it now. So let's start talking the story about the power and what people are doing. We want the press to come out and see what we're doing and report and celebrate. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, especially to say to the Department of Social Development that you have recognized us as an essential service. Thank you that the Learning Trust has come on board. The Nelson Mandela University has been working with us, and all the other organizations that I can't mention at the moment. We are working together. Thank you. And you're an example, David. Thank you for coming on our board. Thank you for influencing our journey in the last 3 or 4 years. Sitting up at 9 o'clock on a Sunday, having meetings. Thank you, David, and Cindy, and Randall, and the whole team. Thank you very, very much. I just want to say I'm sitting in London, where I'm now living, but the work carries on. The work does not depend anymore on your being next door. The work carries on because of our media and because of our internet possibilities. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are. If you have a passion, please, please throw it out to the world and see how God will enrich it and carry it for you. The birds will carry it, and the bees will carry it in their pollen. Thank you very much indeed for
Thanks,
having
Auntie
me.
Monica. Appreciate those words. Thank you. And you, Cindy, would you like to add a parting message before we close? You're very passionate, I know, and I'm sure you have a message to ladies who are experiencing GBV or even children who might be listening.
I just want to say in closing, thank you, David, for this opportunity. First of all, we've got a Facebook page. Please do like our Facebook page. Go on our website, I Protect Me South Africa. Please
Yes.
look at what we are doing. Our offices are situated in Clarke Park Shopping Mall. We're at Shop 87 on the first floor. Please pop in and see and come and speak to our volunteers, our prevention workers to find out more information about what the work that we're doing. We appreciate all feedback as well. And to the women out there, to everyone, young ladies, young men, our young children out there, please do not keep quiet. Use your voice. And if no one, don't stop. When someone, the first person you spoke to didn't listen, there's a door that will be open for you. Do not stop. Please tell, tell. This is our message today. Thank you so much, David.
Great. Thanks so much, Cindy. And with that, we'll just end off this part of our interview. Thank you, ladies, again for joining me. It's really an inspiration to see where IPM is going, and yes, GBV must and will be stopped as long as IPM is around. So thanks so much. Have a wonderful day further, and hope to speak to you soon. Goodbye, Auntie Monica.
Thank you, David.
Goodbye, Cindy.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye bye, David.